Hi, I'm Jamie from Sci-fivision. Thanks for talking to us. Vanesu, obviously this is then your first big production. What did you sort of learn about yourself as a performer from working on the show and working with other actors? And then Stephen, is there still things you learn even now?
What did I learn? Well, I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a lot of stuff mainly about kind of, I think, everything outside of myself, just being on set for a prolonged period of time and, really digesting scripts, especially whole scripts where like there's just so many scenes and so many things that you've got to read. I learned to pace myself, and I learned kind of, I guess, how to manage myself, because this was my first opportunity to have a prolonged period of filming. That was the biggest learning curve for me.
Yeah, and I think you'll get the same answer from actors even older than me, is that every day is a school day with acting. You can't, and also you can't rely on it. I mean, there's a famous story about Laurence Olivier. One of his performances was so great that the audience stood and he'd got a standing ovation every night, but this one just went on and on and on. He was particularly astonishing that night. And then he ran off stage and slammed his door. And one of the actors was sent to find out why he could be so annoyed. And they knocked on his door and said, "Larry, what's the matter?" He said, "Go away." He said, "But don't you know how brilliant you were tonight?" He said, "Of course I fucking know, but I don't know why." and so even a great actor who is brilliant is afraid because they don't know why they're brilliant that particular time. You can't bottle it. So every day is an adventure. I mean, you have to hope that you've got enough technique to be able to convince people, but you don't want to use that. You want to be just in the moment. All the old cliches are there, but and every scene you do has never been done before in filming. It's never been done, and so it's always an adventure. And I just had a great time, and we were all off the leash because it was probably the first job any of us had done since lockdown. And so it was thrilling to be amongst human beings, let alone to be doing such a great project.
You talk about similarities and getting in touch with her, but what were sort of for both of you, the difficulties that you had connecting with the characters? Was there anything?
I think in a way it's quite easy because the world, or indeed one should say worlds, that are presented are so unusual and so daring in that they penetrate the membrane between the real and the illusory, or the real and the dreamlike, that in a sense the job of the actors is to be absolutely as real as possible, otherwise the whole thing floats away. So you've got to be anchored in a truth, and you've only got to look at Vanesu's performance to see she is a genuine, I know that sort of person, and who's having to come to the decision to become a mother at a young age, as it were, to her younger brother, to take responsibility, to fight for things against some quite frightening, if that had been ethereal and to do with, despite the, nature as a dream vortex, as we discover, it would have been lost. So in a sense, it's not easy, but the role is clear, I think, if you're an actor in such things, is that you mustn't be aware that you're inside something astonishing that's to do with fantasy or reality, but that you're grounded, and then it all makes sense. I think. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah. I think it was definitely. When I think of our time filming, I don't think of anything particularly difficult, thankfully. I think the only thing maybe was conjuring up emotional responses sometimes, because I felt a bit blocked up in myself. Like in my personal life, I felt a bit blocked up, so I wasn't as willing to explore very vulnerable places in front of everyone, because I was like, oh dang, if I start, I don't know if I'm gonna stop and I don't know if I'm ready to feel a lot of pain today. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
Real pleasure. Nice talking to you.